Mishnah Tet, and again this Mishnah has nothing to do with Pesach. Nothing to do. In this Mishnah has something to do with Pesach because it started that the people of Yericho used to work on the 14th of Adar, unlike everybody else in the country. So that has something to do with Pesach. But over here, this Mishnah is just the same style. So in this Mishnah we said 6 things the people of Yericho did, and 3 things the Chachamim liked, and 3 things the Chachamim didn't. So it's the same style in this Mishnah, that's why they put it over here, you're going to see. Mishnah zo, Braita hi begmara. This Mishnah is a Braita. A Braita is a Mishnah that was not compiled by the Rabbi Yehuda Anasi. Usually Braitot are longer than regular Mishnah. ונתווספה כאן אגב המשנה הקודמת. And the only reason it's over here is because it is similar wording to the previous Mishnah. וכן כותב הרמב"ם, זאת ההלכה היא תוספתא. And this is the Rambam says, it says, this is nothing to do with Pesach, the Rambam says, it's an addition. They just put it in here because, you see, it's similar in nature. So it says, how is it similar? So it says like this Braita says, Shisha dvarim asa Hezekiah HaMelech, 6 things Hezekiah HaMelech did, al shlosha hodu lo, on 3 things the sages thanked him, or agreed with him, not the word thank is not good over here, agreed with him, al shlosha dvarim heskimo imo chachamim, they agreed with him on 3 things, ועל 3 לא הודו לו, and on 3 things they disagreed with him. Yeah. So the sages says 3 things he did was good, 3 things he did we didn't like. We didn't like. Yeah, he's the king, he can do whatever he wants. Yeah. Chachamim, so it says
still the Chachamim have to agree with the king. He can't just do whatever they want.
The king can pretty much
go in the way of Hashem, no?
Yeah, but it's true that the king has to go in the way of God when it goes to halacha. When he goes to halacha. But he has the power to do whatever. For example, in halacha, you cannot kill unless you have a trial. A king can go and kill anybody he wants. He doesn't have a problem.
And Hashem,
I'm the king, what do you mean? The king has powers. So the king has power. Also, there's milchemet reshut and milchemet chova. The king can decide, I'm going to go. I'm going whatever. There's a lot of power the king has. It's almost like here in America, the separation of the president. The president has powers more than the Congress or more than the Senate. Yeah, there's some powers that the president has. Yeah, I think to declare war in America.
You can't do it to Congress, but you can go to a conflict without a declaration of war.
So that's the ideas. Okay, so let's see. Number 1, girer atzmot aviv. The first thing that he did is we're going to see what it means. He took the bones of his father. Now, Hezekiah was a holy king, a righteous king. His father wasn't, exactly the opposite, let's put it this way. We don't want to say bad things about him, but he was exactly the opposite of honest and righteous. Yeah, you can imagine. Girer atzmot aviv. So the first thing he did is he disrespected the bonds of his father. What? Melech Achaz Shaya Rasha. This is the king Achaz that came before Hezekiah. He was an evil guy. And he took him al mitah shel chavalim. He disrespected him by taking him to his funeral on a bed made out of ropes. Usually a king gets buried in a fancy coffin, in a fancy nice thing. He did it on a bed of ropes, like a nobody. Like a nobody. Yeah, אבא שלו. He took... הבן, ככה, קבע את אבא שלו ככה. אבא שלי רשע, ככה צריך לקבור אותו. ולא כפרו בכבוד על מיטה נאה. And he didn't bury him with honor on a nice bed. כדרך שאר מלכים, like all the other kings. Why? So he says, not because of the nation so much, כדי שתהיה לו כפרה בביזיונו. It says, there's going to be a little bit of atonement to his soul by the fact that I'm going to hear all the time. King Achaz was one of those guys. So he says, this way is going to be an atonement for him. I'm going to bury him like a low guy, so all his life that he thought he was the best in the world, it's going to get atoned a little bit. ומפני קידוש השם, and also, Because of Kiddush Hashem. I'm going to glorify the name of God. How? How is going to glorify the name of God? Because everybody now is going to see she'itganeh al rish'o. Everybody is going to see this is what happens when you're an evil king, a Rasha. This is what's going to happen. Everybody is going to recognize. So I'm going to use his death to educate the entire Jewish people, he says. Ve'ivasru ha-reshaim. And now the evil people are going to have second thoughts about their behavior. He says, if this is what they do to the king, imagine what the nation is going to be thinking about us. Ve'ne'emar, and it says, Va'ishkav Achaz im avotav. It says, and Achaz was put to rest with his forefathers. Va'ikberu be'ir be'Yerushalayim. And they buried him in the town in Yerushalayim. Why? Ki lo yevi'u lekavrei melech Israel. They did not bring him to be buried with the kings of Israel. And what? And on this behavior, hodu lo chachamim. The sage says, Hezekiah, you did the right thing. Well done. Hainu sheskimu imo al maaseh zeh. They agreed with him on this act. One thing, more thing. Kitet nachash hanechoshet. So this is we already remember. We remember when there was a plague in the Jewish nation, and all the snakes came and ate and started killing in the Shittim. Started killing the Jewish people, and Aaron came with his staff, and the symbol, and he made a nachash nechoshet, a serpent out of nechoshet, and he put it up, and people looked at the nachash nechoshet. People looked at it, and they were healed immediately. You remember that?
Okay.
Yeah? So in that story, so he had this nachash nechoshet, and what did he do with it? He grinded it. He destroyed it. He completely destroyed it. Hezekiah, yeah. Kmo shene'emar, so it says, this is what it says, Hu Hezekiah, it says, this is the king of Hezekiah, esir et abamot. The first thing, he took all this idol worship that his father established throughout the land, and he destroyed them, all these idol worships. And then he did one more thing. Vekitet nachash hanechoshet asher asa Moshe. By the way, that symbol is the symbol that America has on the ambulance. Okay. The staff and the snake around it. Yeah, that comes exactly from the story. Vekitet nachash hanechoshet asher asa Moshe. And he grinded this copper snake that Moshe did. Why? Why would he do such a thing? Moshe asked. Good question, Moshe. Ki ad hayamim hema. Because until those days, it says, and especially at the time of his father, where idol worship was prevalent in the land of Israel, it says, what did people used to do? They used to look at the snake as a god. It says they used to bring the snake special sacrifice, incense, avodah zarah. It says even in the Rashi, in the Chumash, Rashi asks, says, and veki hanachash merapeh. If you remember that Rashi says, do you think that the snake used to heal them? When they used to look up at the snake, they used up to heaven and they remembered God. That's what Rashi says. Over here, they stopped remembering God. They thought that they are healed by what? By the snake. Look at it today. It's exactly like medicine today. A person who's sick, God forbid, he has a eine machla, he has the eine machla, so he knows, it's first thing, I'm going to get chemotherapy. The chemotherapy is the one who's healing me. We feel it 100%. Says that's the problem. They think that the chemotherapy is God. It's going to heal them. That's what they think. And the truth is that it's God. There's a God above it. Okay? It says that idol worship, the Jewish people used to give incense to it. And they admitted to him, good that you did it. It became an idol worship, even though it wasn't an idol worship. For the Jewish people, it became an idol worship. We're happy that you did it. Because you did good. It says the truth, it wasn't idol worship. But the people already in their mind, it's idol worship, just like medicine today. We are for sure that it's the medicine that helps us. Forget God. Who needs God? I'm happy I have the medicine. I can go to the doctor. He can heal me. That's right. Vehodulo. And then one more thing that he did. Ganaz Sefer Refuot. There were a book of medicine and he hid it. I don't know, we'll see. Ganaz Sefer Refuot. Rashi מפרש, Rashi explains, לפי שלא היה ליבם נכלה על חליים אלא מתרפאים מיד. It says there was a book of medicine, and as soon as you get sick, you can do something and not get sick anymore. As soon, whatever medicine, whatever ailment you have, yeah, you can take this root or this thing, and immediately you are healed. So it says it's a problem. When a person is sick, it comes from a spiritual realm. And instead of dealing with the problem, what are they doing? They're not healing the problem, they're just taking the medicine, and then that's it. But the reason why God made them sick is so they can correct themselves. And now nobody's correcting themselves anymore. Because as soon as you get sick, you take something and now you're not sick anymore. And you don't have a remembrance, nothing to remind you that you need to do something with your life. So he did it, he hid this. Klomar, which means, שהיה להם ספר רפואות, they had a book of medicine that was written by Shlomo HaMelech, והיו עושים כמו שכתוב בספר זה, they would do whatever was written in this book, והיו מתרפאים, and immediately they would get healed. וכשראה חזקיה המלך, and when Hezekiah the king saw, שבני האדם אינם סומכים משום כך על השם, they don't rely on God anymore, they rely on the medicine, גנז את הספר. He hid the book. The Rambam disagrees. Obviously, the Rambam was a doctor. The Rambam says, what, are you crazy? If there's medicine, use the medicine. I'm a doctor, I know. A medicine helps. Yeah, God gave the medicine power, therefore use the medicine. It can't be the story. Can't be the story. If God created a medicine, you should be using the medicine. That can't be the story. So what does the Rambam says? אבל הרמב"ם דוחה את הפירוש הזה, but the Rambam doesn't like this explanation, והוא כותב, and he writes, לפי דעתם הקל והמשובש, it says according to their knowledge, which was very much inferior, they didn't have good knowledge, they didn't think about it, they just read the information quickly. כשירעב האדם וילך אל הלחם, when a person is hungry and he goes to the bread ויאכל ממנו and he's going to eat from it, בלי ספק שיבריא מכל ירעב. It says that can't be. Because according to this, you can say the same thing about food. You're not allowed to eat food. Take away the food. You know why? Because you don't rely on God anymore. It's the bread that heals you. Every time you're hungry, it's like a sickness. And then bread, and he says, and nobody thought to take away bread from people. If there's medicine, it means God put medicine in order to heal people. How can you take it away? You're not allowed to do such a thing. If God created a medicine for people, leave it in the life. According to this, it doesn't make sense. Because if you use that logic, I'll use the same logic that you did on bread. אם כן, כבר נואש ולא יישען בהשם. It says, according to you, he's relying on the bread and not on God. So therefore, don't feed him. It's the same stupidity. He said, you can't say such a thing. So נאמר להם, he says to them, הוי שוטים, hey, הוי השוטים, it says, you fools. כאשר נודה להשם בעת האכילה, it says, just like you thank God at the time that you eat, שהמציא לי מה שישביע אותי ויתיר עוונותי, that he gave to me sustenance to heal my hunger, ואחיה ואתקיים so I can live, כך הודה לו שהמציא לי רפואה, ירפא את חולי. I should also thank him that he created this medicine to do this. So that wasn't the case over here. I'll tell you what the case was, the Rambam says. לפיכך מפרש הרמב"ם, so the Rambam says, by the way, you can take it almost to the levels of the crystals that we just discussed. לפיכך מפרש הרמב"ם, שספר הרפואות שגנז חזקיה המלך, that the book of רפואות, of medicine, that Hezekiah the king put away, היה עניינו בעשיית צורות בשעות יהודאות, על פי מערכת הכוכבים והמזלות. It had some astrology behind it. In other words, drink tea at 4 o'clock in the morning, or do this at this specific time of the day, or this time of the month. Yeah. וכל צורה מעולה לריפוי מחלה מסוימת. In other words, you have to take this medicine in a particular time, and it's going to heal you because it's the time, not that. ולא חיברו המחבר אלא דרך החוכמה בטבע המציאות. And he wrote it on the laws of nature. לא על דרך שיעשה אדם מה שנכתב בו. And when King Solomon wrote it this way, he wrote it as a theoretical piece, not as a practical piece. This is in theory, not in other words, they're taking a midrash and they're understanding it physically. It says that's not what King Solomon meant. כי יש דברים שנמנע השם לעשותם, ומותרים ללמדם ולהבינם. There are things that stays in the spiritual realm. You can understand them in the spiritual realm, but not necessarily they come down here, down into physical realm. כמו שנאמר, like it says, לא תלמד לעשות כתועבות הגויים. It says, don't learn to do like the casting things that the goyim do. The goyim use astrology, using the time, like we know with the wars, they used against places. It says we're not supposed to do this idol worship, to learn these kind of things from the other nations. ודרשו לחכמים, and the sage says, לעשות אי אתה למד. To do you don't learn. אבל אתה למד להבין ולהורות, but you can learn it as a theoretical thing, not as a practical thing. וכיוון שהתחילו הבריות להאמין בצורות הללו ולהתרפא בהן, once the people started to believe in this astrology science and they started using them in order to heal themselves, היו טועים אחריהם, they would say that this astrology thing is that heals me. It says this is idol worship already. See, this is considered, I mean, until now I'll give it to you. It's medicine, but this is not medicine anymore. This is spiritual things. The crystal has some power maybe, but if you say it heals this one, on this time of the, that's already idol worship. והיו טועים אחריהם. גנז חזקיה את הספר שלא יהיה מצוי בידי ההמון. Hezekiah says maybe some sages, they want to come and see it. Yeah, it's King Solomon wrote it. It's true. I'll let them see it, but I'm going to take this book away from the masses because they're going to make mistakes after this book. And on this one also, הודו the sage says, you did the right thing. חכמים בדבר זה. על שלושה, so this is the things, the three that they admitted to him. Now we're going to go to the three that the sages didn't like. He did it, he's the king, but the sage says, oh, you made a mistake. What are the three? שלושה לא הודו לו, three they didn't admit to him, ואלוהם. And these are them. קצץ דלתות של היכל, he took out the golden doors of the temple, ושיגרן למלך אשור. And he melted them, they were made out of gold, he melted them and he sent them to the king of Ashur. כמו שכתוב, לקצבית in מלכים, בעת ההיא, at that time, קצץ חזקיה את דלתות היכל השם, Hezekiah took off the doors from the temple of God, ויתנם למלך אשור, and he gave them to the king of Ashur. כלומר, שהסיר מהדלתות את ציפוי הזהב, he took all the gold off the doors, ושלחו למשך אשור, and he sent it to the king of Ashur. Why? It was a strategic move. כדי לפייסו שלא ילחם בו. It says, you want taxes? You want some money? Here's some money. Leave us alone. Don't attack Israel. So he says, I'm going to take the gold and give it to him. ולא הודו לו. And the sage says, you did wrong. חכמים, why? They say because שהיה לו לבטוח בהשם שיש בידו להצילו. It says you should have trusted God, yeah, that God is the one who's going to give you the salvation. It says you weren't trustful. Another thing, סתם מי גיחון העליון, he closed the water of the גיחון, the upper גיחון. Why did he close that water? שלא יהיו מים מצויים לחיל אשור. When Ashur are going to attack, they're not going to have any water. He took the river and he took him another way. rerouted it. כמו שכתוב, והוא יחזקיהו סתם את מוצא מימי גיחון העליון. He blocked the upper גיחון. וכן כתוב, ויסתמו את כל המעיינות, they says they covered all the wells, ואת הנחל השוטף בתוך הארץ, לאמור, and also the river they rerouted to say, למה יבואו מלכי אשור ומצאו מים רבים? It says, why should they come over here and they're going to take all this water and to supply them with war? ולא הודו לו. Over here again, the sages says, you didn't do good. שהיה לו לפתוח בהשם, the same thing. You have to trust in God. כמו שאמר לו הנביא ישעיהו, just like the prophet Yeshaya told him, וגנותי על העיר הזאת להרשיעה. I have no idea what it means. It says, I think it means, I think גנותי is, I don't like it. לגנות, מהמילה לגנות. I don't like this evil city. Okay, I think I don't like this evil city, I'm not going to give salvation to it. ועוד שעל ידי סתימת המעיין הרע לבני עמו. It says, what do you think? You're closing the wells, you're going to be just bad for the people of Ashur? You're also doing it bad for us. You're ruining our economy. It's like Russia in Second World War burning all the fields or burning all the towns. It says, who you're hurting? Just the Germans? You're also hurting the Russians. Same idea. This is what he's doing. He's burning down the land so they can come in. And one more thing that he did, Iber Nisan benisan. There's such a concept in Judaism as a leap year. Yeah, we add one more month. When we got 2 Adars, so he did this Ibur. You're supposed to do this Ibur in the month of Adar. You're supposed to announce that there's a pregnant month, there's another Adar during the month of Adar. And it says over here, he did it in Nisan. Okay? By the way, the king does have a say on what he does, because sometimes he needs it for war. For the king, it's a problem. Do you know why? The king doesn't want to have another month in the year. Oh, he always wants to have another month in the year. Anybody knows why?
Tax? No?
Taxes is one thing. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He's going to get in the next month.
Oh.
So it doesn't matter for him. He gets taxes every month. Yeah? But the reason why it's good for the king, because he used to pay the army by yearly salary.
Oh.
So now he can get a month free for the army.
Not pay them.
Yeah, not pay them, exactly. He gets a free month from the army. Iber Nisan benisan. He did he added the month in the month of Nisan. לאחר שכבר נכנס חודש ניסן, נמלך ועשור אדר שני. After Nisan came in, he made it into second Adar. Why? כדי לדחוק את חג הפסח. Because he noticed that Chag Pesach is coming too early. Yeah, things are not ready, the sheep are not ready, whatever. Yeah, the time of the year is not good. כמו שכתוב, like it says, ויבאץ המלך ושריו וכל הקהל בירושלים. It says, the king and his ministers and all the congregation came to ירושלים, לעשות הפסח בחודש השני, to do the Pesach in the second month. Why? כי לא יכלו לעשותו בעת ההיא. Because they couldn't do it in that time, כי הכהנים לא התקדשו למדי. Because there were not enough Kohanim who were not, it was probably a time of war, everybody was touching dead bodies all over the place, and there were not enough Kohanim who were pure to do the temple work for Pesach. So they said, we need more time to make more Kohanim to make them pure. ובגמרא מבואר, and the Gemara says, no, that's impossible. שלא עיבר לאחר שנכנס ניסן ממש. He didn't really, after Nisan comes in, you cannot make another, it's already in. How are you going to take it in? That's not what he did. אלא ביום 30 של אדר. The sage says you're allowed to make another, to make an Ibur year, to make a pregnant year, only until the 29th of the month. Because the 30th of the month can be both. So even though, he did it on the 30th of the month, but the 30th of Adar. But the 30th of Adar can be considered the first of Nisan. So it says he didn't really, it was still the 30th of Adar, and then he did it. ולא הודו לו חכמים. And in all these things, the sages, and also in these things, the sages did not agree. Why? שאין מעברים את השנה ב-30 של אדר, because they say you cannot do it on the 30th day of Adar. הואיל וראוי לכבוד ניסן, because it's possible for that day to also be the first of Nisan. כלומר, שחודש אדר בשנה שאינה מעוברת הוא לעולם חסר. Which means that the month of Adar in a year that is not pregnant is always missing, not in a leap year. היינו 29 יום, it's always going to be 29 days if it's not a leap year. ויום ה-30 הוא ראש חודש ניסן, and the 30th day is the first day of Nisan. הילקח אין מעברים בו. Therefore, because it's befitting to also be the first of Nisan, even though in that year it wasn't, therefore do not make it a leap year on that one. לפי שאין מעברים את השנה אלא באדר, because you only add another month, only in the month of Adar. Finish chapter Dalet. That was an interesting one, huh, Moshe?
כן.
קל.
זה כמו מדרש.
זה היה קל, נכון? לא כמו... לא צריך לשבור את הראש.
I was surprised that החכמים הודו לו על מה שהוא עשה לאבא שלו. כן, זה כבוד, it's a little bit.
אבא רשע.
היה עניין שהוא...
אבא הביא על עבודת אלילים. אתה יודע שצריך לשמוע, צריך לעשות חינגה ביורצייט של אבא כזה? צריך
בגלל שהוא הולך נגד...
לא רק לעשות יורצייט.
הוא הולך נגד אבא שלך?
מה זה?
איפה כיבוד אבא אין?
איפה כיבוד השם?
אז זהו, אז אם אבא לא מכבד את השם, אין לך חיוב לכבד אותו. זה מה שאני מבין.
צריך להיזהר בזה. צריך להיזהר. צריך להיזהר במילים שאתה אומר. זה לא נכון, כי יש הרבה דיטלס. בתורה, everything is detailed. If your father tells you to do something that Hashem tells you not to do, you tell your father no. That doesn't mean that in a regular case, when your father tells you, bring me coffee, you don't bring him coffee. Two different things. Yeah? But over here, you're talking about a person who had influence over the whole Jewish nation. And he took down the Jewish nation down many steps. He brought idol worship. In such cases, yeah, you have to celebrate the fact that this is his end. That this is what happened to the end.
As if you have a father that go against Hashem all the time and he does that. אבל זה לא אותו דבר. You can learn from this.
It depends what? It depends what he did. Yes, you can do. Look, a regular father today, a regular person is not religious. That is not going against Hashem. It's called somebody who's not religious. But somebody who goes against Hashem. Now, for example, I'll give you. Your father goes and becomes a Nazi and starts helping the Nazis during World War II to kill Jews. Yeah, somebody's father. Yeah, you have to put him in place afterwards. You have to celebrate his death day.